What it do? It's your boy DOA. I'm back. Another episode of putting shit together. This one we gonna do a little different than we've been doing. Instead of the hot topics and things like that, little topics of debate. Um, we gonna touch on alchemy and the alchemical practices. I don't know if a lot of y'all's familiar with alchemy. I probably all heard about it a little bit, essentially, but basically wanted to touch on this, and this gonna be a series of episodes because I want all my subscribers to um, get some benefit from the things that I talk about. Believe it or not, I'm not just on YouTube to try to get monetized and to do all of what you see. These influencers doing. I've always used all the platforms allotted to me to try to spread knowledge, spread the truth, some esoteric information that could benefit people. Because in the end, if we all better, then we are all better, So that's one of the things I really champion myself is giving people as much knowledge and truth as they're willing to accept and that they're ready for it as much as I can. So I wanted to touch on this alchemy today. And alchemy, a lot of y'all know it as the practice of turning base metals into gold. And it's kind of got a little magical connotation to it when you hear about it often. You hear about these guys of the past searching for a way to turn like lead into gold, essentially. But it is a real practice. It is like the father of science and chemistry, hence the chemi at the end, suffix chemi. But chemi also actually means like blackened earth, the black earth. And they say alchemy came from Egypt, which was once called Kemet, meaning land of black earth. But that's a topic for another discussion, if it actually came from what we know as modern day Egypt or not. I'm not really here to debate that right now. It's kind of a non-point at this point. But just know that Kimi does mean black earth or land of black earth. It also has a very spiritual meaning. Like we know Jesus or Yeshua was a man of many miracles. He worked miracles. And they call him in the Bible Jesus Christ. And a lot of people take that Christ as to be like part of his name. Like his last name is Christ or something. But Christ is actually kind of a derivative of alchemy, and it's a way of life. Christ is a way of life and a practice. So when we say we're walking in Christ, it's not like we're walking with Jesus or in Jesus. We're supposed to be walking to the beat of a certain set of principles, and actually alchemy is essentially those set of principles. In modern religion, for some reason, and probably for good reason, a lot of y'all might know that like modern religion is not here to do the same thing that we really want to believe it is to do, which is, to elevate us and kind of take us from lead to gold. They've knocked that part out of religion, where it used to be. I can't even say that used to be what religion was, because people like Yeshua, like Siddhartha, which is Buddha, they all said not to make their practices into a religion, which we ended up doing anyway. So we kind of went against their teachings in order to come up with modern religion as we have it today. And for some reason, like, in Christianity, when you mention things of like magical things, if you probably was to go into a church and mention alchemy, they would associate that almost with like something kind of demonic in a way, where it's like witchcraft or something like that, but it actually isn't. It actually goes hand in hand with walking in Christ. Just as, alchemy to be the practice of turning base metals into gold, like lead to gold, it also works for the human physiology and like your spirituality, turning you from the base version of yourself to the golden version of oneself. From, I guess, your lower evolved self to your highest evolved self. So, just a little history on it. Like Thoth, which is the Egyptian, they call him a god, but I'll say god just because I don't feel like debating that in this video right now. He's got a human body with an ibis head, which is like a bird with a hooked nose, hooked beak. And he is attributed to be like the founder of alchemy. He also was the god of writing, wisdom, and magic. He's also associated with the moon and the lunar cycles, and some other things as well. But Thoth is also the author of the Emerald Tablets, which we will go over the Emerald Tablets. There's some short writings. A lot of y'all have probably heard part of it, and I will actually read part of it to you today before we get into the first step of alchemy, which there are 7 steps that are associated with the 7 chakras of the body. And for those of you that don't know what chakras are, these are like energy centers that's running from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. And you'll see the symbols associated with them in like yoga and meditation practices. The colors associated with them are the colors of the rainbow. So like Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. These chakras are energy points that we are to activate and to keep clear, so that energy can flow seamlessly from the base of the spine out through the top of the head, wrap back around, back, and repeat. So it's a cycle of moving energy. It keeps you clear and fluid, and that is what evolves you as a human, moving this sacral energy. And it's the same it's the same energy that it's life force energy, so it's the same sexual energy that we feel like, and having intercourse with like orgasmic type energy. We use that energy to literally create new life. So with that energy, you can create a baby, which opens a portal for a whole nother human to enter the earth. So it is a very powerful energy. We often misuse it, but it is very powerful. When we can harness it and use it properly, it can perform miracles. So, to keep from becoming too long-winded, this is a very in-depth topic of discussion, so I will need several videos for us to go in depth on it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, man. Y'all subscribe, send it to your friends, so we can, open up this debate and y'all can hear it from me. I'll try to simplify it as best as possible for my people to understand it as well as they possibly can. And let's all raise this vibration and see where this can take us. But I'll start with there are several translations of the Emerald Tablets, and it's basically saying as above, so below. That's what it's saying. So um, the principles of the lower realms and the higher realms are the same. And it says basically through conjunction, which is an alchemical step. It's one of the alchemical steps. But through the recombining or the combination of the two, all things are perfected. So joining that which is below with that which is above makes all things perfected. So yeah, I'll let y'all marinate on that, and y'all can beat up the comments, and then I'll read these comments, and on the next video I'll address some of the things y'all might have concerns with. But we'll move on into the first step of alchemy, give y'all an explanation of that, and yeah. Let's see. So the first step in alchemy is calcination. And calcination is the heating of a substance in a crucible or over an open flame to reduce the substance to ashes. So that's the chemical explanation of calcination. But to us in the physical realm, for your spiritual development, that literally means heating up your body to burn off excess. So that would be like through physical exercise, maybe even sauna treatments and things like that, to heat up the body to begin burning off excess or impurities. And that's the first step to refining your substance, that which being your body. So in alchemy, calcination is associated with the Aries in the chemical sulfuric acid, which is brought about by vitriol oil, and we'll get into that more later. But just know calcination is associated with Aries and the chemical sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid reacts to everything except gold. So when applied to gold, sulfuric acid has no reaction. But with everything else it does. And sulfuric acid literally eats away flesh. So remember what we was just saying about burning off excess. Exercise, which we exercise to essentially eat away at flesh, like get away with the excess fat and impurities out of our body. The Aries in the zodiac, the Aries is associated with the ram, and the Aries is actually the first sign of the zodiac. And it's represented by the ram because the ram, literally rams things and busts through. So the Aries busts through into the physical realm. That's why it's associated with the ram. It's also associated with the color red. Spiritually, it is the representation of humbling ourselves. So letting go of the ego and letting go of material possessions. So not being a materialistic person, that is what activates this first chakra and the process of calcination. So when I, start practicing alchemy, and these steps are to be repeated. So once you get to the last step, you should keep repeating so you can continue to refine your body and your spirit and mind. So when I go through my calcination stage, I do that, of course, by exercising. And also, I like to go through my closet and things like that and get rid of that which does not serve me anymore. So like old clothes that I've been holding on to and I'm not gonna wear, and old items you got tucked in a closet away somewhere, like go in there and clean that stuff out. Donate some stuff, even sell some stuff, because one of the one of the things I bring to my household, like this is like a principle in our house, is junk to resources. So we often go through our house and we find things that we would consider junk. Just like one man's trash is another man's treasure. A lot of times you can sell these items. You can, get you some financial assets from it. And it really just really kicks the calcination process into gear, and not being attached to material items that activates this chakra. That chakra is also associated with survival. So the survival instincts like fight or flight, even from the financial aspect of like, feeling like I got enough to live and all of that. Like, as they say, let go and let God. That's one of the that'll be one of the principles of calcination. It's kind of letting go and letting God and following and not feeling like your existence is at stake. So, feeling secure in yourself. I also like to practice martial arts. I train boxing and keep up that type of physicality and that type of self-defense, because that really activates this base chakra and kicks off the calcination, because you no longer, the more you become proficient at self-defense, the less you fear for your safety. So that's good things we can do to kick the calcination into gear. Be like martial arts, boxing training, self-defense training, of course exercise, clearing out the closet, cleaning out your car, donating items, and just a general feeling of not being attached to material possessions. Also, another principle of calcination would be to overthrow the status quo, having like a revolutionary mindset. So not just going along with the status quo, following others like lemmings, having the strength to step out on your own, and being confident to take another path, and being led by your higher power, the Most High. These are all principles of calcination that kick the calcination into gear. So, the Ram, I don't know if any of y'all are Aries or got Aries kids or friends around you. The Ram, the Aries, they are known for this. They do have those characteristics innate in them, very strong to bust through and kind of buck the system a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And this is something that we can learn from the Aries, and something we can activate in a beneficial way to elevate us to getting to our golden state. I'm gonna need y'all's feedback, because it's a lot to these things, to these steps, and to this alchemical process. So if at any point you got any questions about it, I would appreciate them, because that'll help me to go in depth on the things that you all want to know, as opposed to me, just rattling off as much as I possibly can about these steps. But I'm gonna kind of leave it there for this episode. I will give you a sneak preview into the next one. So the next stage is dissolution. Which would be like dissolving ashes in water chemically. So that's going to be the next video. Until then, like I said, Let's wrestle in the comments. Let's debate. Let's have intellectual conversation in these comments. It'll be better for the both of us, for all of us. And as always, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Peace and blessings from the Most High. And yeah, peace.